Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about the go-kart. Now, this has been a long-term project of mine, and we've had multiple failures over the years, both with the original GY6 and a freshly built crate engine. So as you can imagine, I have a little bit of frustration towards this project. And now, we're going to merge those two engines together.
Good day, everyone. Are you ready to work on a sorry-ass piece of shit? You hear that? Do you hear that? That's the sound of a marital dispute between the crankshaft and the piston. Or the connecting rod. Whatever. Who gives a damn? These are the single crappiest engines I have ever had the displeasure of owning and maintaining and working on in my entire life. This is the GY6 platform. And we have many stories regarding them. This is an unbranded crate motor that I purchased long ago to replace the engine which is currently occupying my go-kart, which failed, and I completely forgot about the failure until yesterday, spending 6 hours putting it back into the go-kart. You see, originally I bought this engine to replace that engine. Reason being, that connecting rod and piston have come apart from one another, or connecting rod and crankshaft. I don't know, I haven't taken it apart to see. So I bought this crate motor, fresh out of the box, complete with everything, CDI box, carburetor, all of it. Got it together. It was not a plug-and-play application, not at all. See, you end up having to do some rewiring. Despite having idiot-proof plugs, damn thing didn't produce spark and didn't turn over when you turned the key. So we had to rewire it. So much fun. After getting the piece of crap going, a myriad of other issues failed on this go-kart. We have a weld here. I cannot believe what they pass as safe. Flat piece of steel welded to a piece of tubing. Of course that failed. Cracks up here. We tried re-welding all this stuff and nothing worked, so big old steel plates and bolts are holding everything together. This is what gives it the Spider Box nameplate. Sure. Nothing like a good old axle failure, coupled together with a Chinese weld from a crappy Harbor Freight welder. The camber's always been off because everything's been slowly bending. The gravity of one 180-pound male is too much for this machine. I hate to see what happens with two 10-year-olds on it weighing about 100 pounds each. So, this is my original engine. It's made by a company called Howitt. Howitt. Piece of shit. And of course what I bought in replacement for it costed me around $260, $300. I can't quite remember. Drop in, supposed to be a good old engine. Well, it was for a little while, but then it encountered a failure. First failure that happened was within the first 6 months of riding. And when I say 6 months of riding, I mean the occasional weekend, the occasional 1.5 hour ride. These pads just came off. Fell right off of the original clutch. So, the first thing I did was pop the cover, and the kickstart assembly was a real pain, so I never put it back in, because no matter how many times I tried, it wouldn't function correctly. You know, you get all the timing marks lined up and everything, but it's not good enough. Slid this whole unit off, because it all comes off as one unit. Currently, it is not coming off as one unit, so something must have cammed over in there. I don't know. But anyway, I decided to just use the old JB Weld method. JB Weld is better than whatever the heck they used, and it works. You know, every time a pad fell off, I just JB welded it back on. Of course, now we're having other clutch problems, as you can see. These aren't supposed to be up in the air, and the springs have gone flying out all over the place. So I figured that maybe I could take this whole variator off and retrieve the variator clutch combo in the original engine, which is still good. The trouble is, I can't get it off. It's supposed to slide right off, but it's not happening. So we're going to try the old claw method, which probably is going to fail me. You can see that the center shaft is turning there freely, so it should just slide right off. And no, you don't take this off. If you take this bolt off, you got other problems. And also, no, spring tension against it. No, we're not doing that. Aside from the clutch failure, there was a whole other failure that had happened, which required me to get inside. This is the actual generator and whatever plate of the GY6. On the other side of it, riding on the crankshaft, is this guy right here. This connects to your starter. See, rather than give you a Bendix type starter that goes in and out of the flywheel, this is what basically becomes your Bendix. It's a centrifugal clutch with weird little roller thingies on the inside, and they fail over time. This was ultimately what led to my engine sitting for over a year. I knew that this part failed, but I didn't feel like taking this off. I just got so tired of putting money into it. So I let it sit for a year, and finally came back to it, decided to drop this in, and originally I dropped it in on the crate motor there. But I forgot about the clutch problem. So with a brand new starter clutch thingy installed, I thought it wouldn't be too big of a deal to get this off, but this thing fought me. So I went ahead and decided, hey, maybe I could revive the original engine, thinking that the original engine only had one problem, and that was the same thing, that the starter gear had failed inside. So I went ahead and put that starter gear that I had installed there into here. Are any of you confused yet? Don't worry about it. Don't think about it too hard. I went ahead and put that starter gear in here, started turning it over, and then I remembered, oh yeah, the connecting rod and crankshaft no longer mate. They're having a marital dispute. See, you can hear, oh, not hear, but see that flywheel is spinning. But you know what you're not hearing? The piston go up and down. So, we got spark. I've checked that. Not relevant to this. All I can figure is the piston is stuck somewhere, and it's stuck just at the right level that the crankshaft can still turn. The connecting rod and piston are just sitting there. I can't believe we're not getting some kind of a lockup collision while I turn this thing over. So yeah, this engine's screwed, and the only chance that we have for the GY6 to actually power this pile of magnificent crap is if we can get that clutch variator pack off. I'm so fed up with this thing that if I do get this off, you bet I am not putting a new gasket here. I'm going to go Yamalube. We're going to try to install some Yamaha blood into this thing, because you know Yamaha is great and sporty, and maybe if we just put back one piece of Yamaha, we can revitalize the spirit of this not how it, but also still piece of shit. Well, ladies and gentlemen, there is a God. I feel real stupid for taking this motor off. Well, the good news is, now that I got that off, I can steal the one off of my original Howitt and reinstall it to this. And maybe I can do a redneck fix on this gasket here, because I really don't want to rebuy it, obviously. I'm tired of this pile of dog do. And, yeah, let's just, yep, you get it. That's right. Just like that. 1, 2 reps. Crack your knees. Pretty please. I hate the GY6 so much. Alright, time to get into a lot of uninteresting, boring crap that I have no music or means to make entertaining. Gotta unzip these exhaust bolts. They're really weird and super long and whatever. Can't even see them. Oh, excuse me, but these guys gotta go. We gotta take the variator off to make sure that we can use it. Clutch, variator, whatever. I'm probably calling that the wrong thing, but I don't really care. We've got to undo this guy right here. We've got to undo our carburetor. We've got to undo everything here. I got to get into here and steal the starter gear back out of this, my brand new gear. I actually Yama pasted this, so that gasket will be no good. Got to take this starter. Yep, it's all got to go. That's what I'm going to do right now. Your service was greatly appreciated. Kiss my ass. Also got that guy off. Thank God for air tools. As you can see, this thing been torqued against heavily. Torqued against heavily, and it busted the flywheel, or whatever. Not flywheel, you know what I mean. Okay, so I'm going to continue to scab off parts from this guy. We're going to just take every good part we can off the original Howitt and marry it to the unnamed, not Howitt, engine. Well, him and my uncle tore that engine down. Wait a minute, this ain't a Dodge. If you got a problem, you don't know where to turn, if you got a problem, and you need some help, I can help. Problem with your crappy CVT belt, I can help. Yep, I can help. What do you guys think? You think I should leave this, or, you know, delete on it? I got a whole other one, you know, on the Howitt, so I think I'll just, we'll worry about that later when I have two hands. Raw Chinese power. You know what I think is the most disappointing thing about having to pull this engine? I wish it was only the 7th time that I've done it, but I think it's the 12th. No, the most disappointing thing about pulling this engine is that both of these Chinese two-stroke motors have been far more reliable and given me far more kilometers than that crate motor over there on the wall and this engine here together have ever given me. Just one of those two motors has traveled further than both of these engines combined. You ever get the feeling that the engine you're working on, both of them, ain't even worth as much as the motor oil in them? I get that feeling. That's why we're going to do the right thing and reuse the old oil. Yep. I ain't spending another $1 on this damn thing. Alright. I'm going to go ahead and lean that into the tray. You know what the worst part is? This right here. Sorry about that. The old one-handed filming technique is terrible. Anyway, you know the worst part? Is that this right here, this is what originally did in, oh shoot, counter-threaded, that's right. This right here, this guy is the part that originally did in the crate motor. You know, I got about, I don't know, 7 or 8 good rides, and then this piece failed on the original engine. So, you know, this is the new one, by the way. I've swapped it out between the two engines too many times now. But yeah, that's the part that caused all this mess to begin with. If that had never failed, we wouldn't even be dealing with this problem right now. Granted, I have some of my own mistakes in there, I can admit, but it could have been so much more fun. Tie a yellow ribbon around the old oak tree. It's spent 3 long years. This thing's so crappy. I have a name brand for my unbranded. It's a China. Brothers from a different mother, sorta. Unless you're counting it as region of manufacture. Starting to look like a go-kart again. Whether it'll run or not is a whole other story. And I'll tell you one thing, all these tools sitting out in the sun like this, some of them are too hot to touch. You know, the Howitt may be a lost cause, but that don't mean that we can't use the case. I thought that this looked a lot nicer than the black one, so I'm just going to go ahead and snag on that. It may be a little bit of a white lie, but you know what? It looks fine by me. I even put the goofy air box back on. Ain't that quaint? Not exactly sure how it's supposed to mount to this cart. I never really knew. Ever since the day I got it, it's always been missing stuff and jacked up. You may have noticed this beautiful dryer equipment here, and you may be asking yourself, what the heck is that thing supposed to be? Well, not to get into too much of a rant, but basically when I first got this thing going, we used to like to go up to the dirt roads to have fun. And what happens is these tires stir up a bunch of dust. And that cloud doesn't just go backward, it also goes this way. And you may note the direction that the air filter intake is facing. So basically over the course of 40 minutes you would clog up your air filter, and then this engine would start to struggle to run at all. Very intelligent design. Now that one I can't put on the GY6. It's not the GY6's fault. This is a Yerf-Dog exclusive. So I got us a dealership modification here, which has broke over time because it does this anytime you hit a bump. But that actually solved a lot of the problem. That's rooted up here to our swamp buggy air scoop, you know, or you could call it our street air scoop, a whole 1 pound to boost. Anyway, the important thing is that actually works, and I'll probably rig it up again real quick. Very red green approved. And now it's time to see the moment of truth. Did I waste my life on this thing again? Let's find out. No way. Well, yeah. It ran. I can't believe it. Oh, look at that. We even still have lights. Wow. Unbelievable. Now, I know what you're thinking. All 6 of you watching. Can we take it on a victory spin? Traditionally, we do take it on through its paces, but we only a couple paces now, because remember, she's a China doll. Okay? When my little China doll get excited, it breaks. So we'll take it on a little victory spin, just a little one. I get excited, my little China girl says, oh baby, I'm gonna break down on the side of the road. Yeah, oh that gearbox sounds horrible. I don't know why, but it's working. Holy crap. My little China girl says, oh baby, I'm a piece of crap. It's not perfect, but it runs. That's a whole heck of a lot better than where it was this morning. Onward to our next project, which honestly, I think is cleaning this dump a little bit. Thanks for watching.